Good evening! Welcome back for another episode of EZ8's Online Painting Club. My name's Danny, says it right down there at the bottom of the screen. I hope you guys have all been well. It's certainly been an interesting week for me. I can see that we've got people in the live chat waiting already. You guys are starting to be early comers. It's putting me off a little bit. I've got Leslie, I've got Adrian, Jeff and Luke all in the live chat just over there. Hi guys, I can see you all having chat already. Some of you guys weren't here last week. You're all on holiday, going off camping or whatever, because some of you guys are friends and things. That's like friends. Yes, that's not like international gang symbol for friends. What a way to start the show. Yeah, cool. We've got a nice little group of people waiting already. I've had an interesting week. I haven't done anything on the model that I was doing last week, which I was supposed to finish off a little bit. Actually, what I've been doing is been preparing more models for this evening show. Got a lot of work to do this evening. So I'm not gonna prattle around too much as I want to do sometimes, so I'm just gonna try and get stuck in as quick as I can, because I've got 5 miniatures to do and I want to try and be able to get them done in about 3 weeks or so. 3 weeks of showtime. If it was like 3 weeks, I could probably just if I was just doing this one thing, then I could probably just crack on and get these done. The idea of today is that I basically use everything that all the knowledge that I picked up doing the previous model and then transferring it into these guys here to, kind of make the theme of the army. Excuse me. Anyway, been a bit of a busy week at work in a different way than it normally has been. So it's all quieting down, but now everyone's kind of catching up on all the stuff that we haven't been able to do for a little while. But I have a couple of had a couple of earlier finishes, so I've been building these models in preparation for today's show. Really looking forward to it. They're fantastic models, really beautiful. I've got a box of 10. I've actually only done 5 of them, as I've said before, and I'll get more into it in a minute as well. If you're new here to EZ8, or even if you just need a bit of a reminder, it's not a tutorial channel, it's nothing like that at all. It's literally a social club online. Come and join in with some friends that you may already know. These guys have been getting to know each other over for a load of time already. Just kind of share some experience, share some knowledge, maybe get a little bit of feedback on a model that you've been painting or an army that you've painted recently, or maybe years ago in the past perhaps. Share a little bit of motivation, or perhaps even get a little bit of inspiration. That's what this show is all about. We're not just here on YouTube, we're also on Facebook and Instagram and Discord at the end of the show, so you can stick around for the after party there. We're also after follows and likes. Yeah, I'm trying to get after those pesky little likes and follows. But if you are so inclined, please do drop a subscribe to the channel, because every little bit really helps me, Kyle, my co-host, who hasn't been here for ages, living his life, and helps all you guys as well build this community into something special. So yeah, I don't really want to get stuck in to this kind of as I want to do quite a lot of the time, so I'm just going to get you straight over to the workbench and show you what's going on over here. But first of all, just going to say hi to the guys. I've got Leslie, Adrian, Jeanette, Jeff, Luke, and Jeanette has just joined us. Evening all, guys. I hope you're all doing really, really well. Let us know what it is that you're painting tonight. Could be anything, whatever you want to be painting, and tell us all a little bit about it. Drop over some photographs over at Facebook. Did I get the right? Facebook's there in the middle. If I point here, I get it. Facebook. Drop it over at Facebook on the community tab and we can all have a look at it. You guys have been doing some wonderful work recently. Looking forward to seeing more photos and stuff. Cool. Brilliant. Let's go over to that workbench. Here we go. Whee. So you can see my workbench is so cluttered at the moment. I've got paints that are just kind of migrating in. I'll show you a little bit later on. It's mental. I need to have a really good tidy up. You can see here just a couple of the miniatures that I've got lined up, and they're all in different parts. Now this is something that I did with the Marshall model, the Skitarii Marshall. Here he is. It's a beautiful model. He's still got a few bits and pieces. You can see that base is a little bit unfinished. It's just a couple of tiny little details that I'm happy to do as I move on. I'm really happy with this guy, and something that I didn't realise is how big he is compared to the other guys. I assume that because he's supposed to be some sort of leader dude or whatever, that he is, supposed to stand out on the battlefield. Here's an average guy, and here's this guy. Look at the size difference. He's so huge. He's got a 32mm base. These guys have got little 25s, whatever they are. So it makes quite a difference to him being on the field. Now, something that I did with that guy is I did have a little peg on a cork so I could have them all individual pieces. So what I've decided to do with these guys is have them in component parts to make it a bit easier to paint. And as I go through them, as I go to start undercoating them, I'm going to start trying to glue them to a little armature. I've been a little bit savvier. That's the term we use in the industry, savvier, about how I approach this. Just making sure I've got a little bit of space. And I'm trying to not jumble them up, because when I was making these guys, I followed the little instruction booklet quite closely, because there was so much detail that I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to copy the little manual on how to do it. So what I've done is I've made little armatures, little bits of wire, just drilled little holes in the side, put little bits of wire sticking out, and the idea is that I'm going to glue little bits and pieces, whatever it is that I need to, onto the ends of these wireframes, and I can move them around depending on how I'm painting. The legs are going to be nice and easy, so I haven't bothered doing that, so they're just kind of in my hands. On this particular one, this is the Alpha, basically a Sergeant model if you like. He is in 2 extra pieces other than legs, so 3 pieces in total. The backpack, because it kind of gets in the way a little bit when it's on the back of the cloak. So I've drilled a little hole into the bottom here, literally before the show started, and then I dashed upstairs to go feed the cat and make a cup of tea. And I'm wondering if I actually even put the cat food down and didn't just leave it in the kitchen. Yeah, I might have to go and check that at the intermission. So there's lots of drill bits of debris, plastic bits here and there, as I was kind of drilling little holes, and hopefully he should sit nice and tidy just on the end like that, and I'll put a little dot of super glue on there, so then I can hold him here and just kind of paint him. And the same with the backpack, just nice and easy to give him a little bit of a undercoat, and it should just be nice and simple. And then once I'm ready to take them off, I can line them up elsewhere. I don't want too many on one armature, because obviously I might get overspray. If I'm spraying in this direction here and there's something right beside it, I could get a little bit of overspray. So on this one here, it's just got 2 pieces. On all the others, I've actually gone and made a tri-armature. I've made that term up just there and then, but it can stay if you want to, a tri-armature. I know what Luke's going to do with that. Anyway, there's a couple of comments going on already, apart from people saying hello to everybody and nice on the returns or whatever. It's nice to see you guys all getting on. Luke says that he's getting on some more Sisters of Battle, getting painted today in my end. Fantastic. Leslie is now painting Battletech, lots of tiny dudes and big guns and pew-pews. Yeah, man. Battletech is a great game, very, very complicated. I like it because it's a very involving and complex game. Gotta have it sometimes. Right, so I've got my Marshal here for reference, but I don't want him to get overspread, so I'm just going to pop him over here. See you later, man. Cool. Right, I'm just going to increase the screen of the size of my screen so I can see a little bit more what I'm doing. There we go, that's nice. Cool. I'm going to get a little bit of paper. Have I got a bit of paper to spray on? I was rushing around earlier on, as I often am. There we are. So I don't know what I did with it all. It was one of those days at work today where I was supposed to get a really early finish. I did not get that early finish. I was in there till quite a long time today, but lots of stuff caught up on. Yeah, it's very quiet at work. Normally there's kids running around everywhere. Not today. No. It's like a ghost town. Right, so I need a little bit of super glue. Boop, got some super glue right here. Give it a shake. I don't know why. What I like about this Green Stuff World pot, but I should imagine other brands do exactly the same, is that in the end of the cap there's a little pin in there, so it helps to break up the top, so it rarely ever gets jammed. Sometimes it will kind of get stuck, you have to really crank it, but other than that, it's a good little super glue. So I'm going to pop on a little bit of super glue on the top here. Nice. And I'm just going to probably a bit too much there. There we are. Pop that in there. Now, the reason I've decided to do wire is because it's bendy and it's easier to kind of manipulate if I need to kind of move them around a little bit. They also will pop out of the cork quite easy. They're just kind of sat in there. But when I used the wooden skewers for the last one with the Marshal, when I had that skewer just kind of going up inside the torso area in there, it left quite a bit of damage. There was quite a bit of skewer left over on the inside, and it caused me some problems trying to fit him together. So I've decided today to use wire because it's smaller, the contact will be less. Yeah, I'm sure you know what I mean. A little bit of patience here. More comments going in. Jeanette says, finishing the picture I started at Hertsey. For those people who don't know what Hertsey is, Herstmonceux. It's an area in the southeast of the UK where me and some friends from this show go to meet up. Big camping reenactment thing. Great fun. Cool. Looking forward to seeing that. If you started at Hertsey as well. Adria says, back to Berserkers after a Brill Bank holiday away. Great, I'm glad you had a good time. And Jeff says, some super glues you do have to shake. Oh, okay, cool. Well, this one doesn't say that you have to, but, you know, hey, at least I shook it. So I'm not going to sit here and do every single one of these. I'm going to do them as I go through with some undercoat. Just to kind of break it up a little bit because, man, why not? I've also realised on that backpack there, I've done a pretty shoddy job of removing the what do you call it, the sprue line at the top. So I've just got a little tiny piece of sandpaper here somewhere. There it is, under all of this rubbish. I'm just going to run that across the top because that one looks like it could stand out a little bit, and I really don't like mould lines at all. I have to admit, a lot of these I was doing quite late when I was getting home from work, sitting on the sofa watching a bit of TV or something with my partner. So yeah, there could be a couple of missed pieces here and there, or bits that weren't done as well as I thought they should have been. And this is one of the reasons why I've gone for this little wire armature, is that I can now just take it in and out of that cork as and when I want to. That's a bit better. I've got my big tank brush here, which is nice and soft, and you can just kind of get in there and get rid of all the little bits and pieces. Wonderful. And now, pop them straight back in that little hole. Lovely. There we are. That's my first armature done. Got his legs ready to go here. And now I'm just going to make sure that everything else is out of the way. Like I say, I'm running out of space in here. Okay, so got my airbrush. I'm going to make a little undercoat mixture. My airbrush is working nice and well. And I'm going to go for some yellow primer. Sorry, yellow primer. I don't know why I said yellow. Some white primer. The reason it was in my head is because I use the white primer for things like yellows. And as the main colour in this army is orange, I thought when I first started it was a good colour to start with. Should bring out the brightness of the silvers that I use and the orange. So, get my little hose over there. There we are. Going to be using quite a bit of this, but I'm not going to overload it. I do like to do smaller batches because it just helps prevent it drying in the airbrush. Now, I did get, last week, if you remember, I did get some paint retarder, which I've been wanting to use for ages. However, I got it for brush and not for airbrush, and it is thick and goopy. Oh, smash my lights in there. So, yeah, it's very handy to have it for brush. Although I do use a wet palette for brush, but you know, as and when in the I've got it there now. It's a tool at my disposal, right? So I will have to get some more. I do want to experiment with some more pigments and things, so I might get some more of those as well. Again, last week, if you remember, I got some different pigments. I haven't played around with those yet. That's going to happen when I paint the base of my Marshall. Just giving a good mix up in the hopper there. Again, I've got my little mixture of 2 drops of thinner, 1 drop of flow improver, might need to crank the pressure up a little bit on the airbrush because I've had it quite low in the past, but primer, you want it a little bit heftier. Saying that though, got quite a nice flow. Here we go. So here's the first little bit of paint for my first of my new Skitarii guys. What I am going to do is I'm just going to bring the frame of the camera in a little bit further because I'm painting a little bit close to my body today. There we go. That's a bit better, isn't it? Yeah, that's much better. Sorry. Here we go. There are a couple of areas that could require filling on them, on the lines on their cloaks. Yeah, a bit lazy that I didn't do that, I suppose. But hopefully a bit of paint shouldn't see so much of it. Mostly, they're very cleverly hidden behind like little dangly cables. See a little cable dangling down the side? The seam behind is hidden behind there. So it shouldn't be too much attention brought to it. I have bought some new plastic putties and stuff to experiment with filling things like that. But it is actually quite a tedious thing to do. It was a deliberate thing, just decided not to do it, just wanted to crack on and get them painted. As I move the armature around, the actual wires themselves kind of tilt around with the weight on the end of them, so that might become a problem as I move on. It seems to be okay at the moment. Okay, that's my Alpha's top part and backpack done, and I'm just going to pop him over here. Not very well balanced. There's a little bit of cork sticking out the bottom. There we go. So it should be a flat bottom. It could just sit there now. No, it's too heavy on one side. Do you know what? Just stay there. Who cares? I can see Darren's joined us now. Hello, hello. Hi, Darren. Nice to see you again. Hope you're doing well, mate. If you went away with the rest of them, I hope you had a great time. I am very jealous that I didn't get to go. But, you know, work, work. On the legs are where some of the seams are still left over. I've actually deliberately not gone to town on them because they're actually hidden quite often by the cloaks, so you don't need to worry about it. Right, that's one done. So what I decided to do with these guys, they can have like different weapon loadouts and all sorts, is I kept them fairly standard. They've all got these lovely rifles, little arc rifles. I think they look really cool. They're all the same apart from one's got the giant sniper version, which is called the Transuranic Arquebus. I love it. I love that steampunky thing, and it's got its little, you know, where is it? It's got this huge rifle here with this little boop, and it kind of rests on it. Because it's that huge. It's got an enormous base. We'll see it in a minute. That's the only weapon upgrade that I've actually done with this guy. With this little team. I've just kept them all fairly standard. The idea is that because I've got 10 in a box, is that I was going to do 5 Rangers and 5 Vanguard, because it's like a twin set. You can make 2 different units from the same box. And I was just going to keep these guys fairly straightforward. Then later on I'll buy another box. And I'll make up the other 5 for each type, so I have another 5 Rangers and another 5 Vanguard, and that will be like with all the weapon upgrades and things and all the other bits and pieces of equipment or whatever. That's my plan. because 1 HQ and 2 troops, might even be 1 troops now, is like a bare minimum to have like a small force. So I thought this is the easiest, most cost-effective way of getting a quick force up on the table. Not that I really cared about having a force on the table, just wanted to do them because they're absolutely brilliant models. Right, let's... Oh no, I just dropped him. So now I need a tri-armature. Easy 8s, homemade tri-armature. You're welcome. So, got some dust in there. Let me just get that out away from the other paint jobs. So these guys have got 1 rifle held between 2 arms, that's where the Alpha has like a pistol and a cattle prod looking thing. I've actually glued 1 arm in place. I kind of dry fit them. So all I've got to do later on is, once the gun is all painted up, just kind of pop him on. Pew pew, as Leslie said. But drilled a little hole in there, drilled a little hole under there, so now that they can be put onto the armature. So back out with the super glue. Where did I put it? There it is. Lovely. Right, let's pop him on. Beautiful. Easy 8's gluing club. It's important that you kind of get this stuff all sorted out though, because I mean, if you're just like mass producing, you don't really care about what what the end result is too much. Then you can do it with the guns actually over the front of them. But to kind of get any kind of real detail or accuracy, trying to paint the fronts of the guys' chests, or the backside of the guns, it's quite important to make sure that you've got this, the space that you need. Now I could be using the activator, but I've decided not to. Wish I was using it right now, because this little piece is just taking a little bit longer. As if I blow into it. There we go. That's not doing it. Leslie says, pew pew with pew pews. Wonder if I can clog them up with pus. That's rank. I can feel a game coming on at some point, so if anyone's inclined to play a game of Warhammer 40,000, it's been a while since I've played it, I would love to have a go. Come on, glue, do your thing. I might actually have to get a little bit of activator out on this one. Easy 8's waiting club. My goodness. Right, okay. Do you know what? If I pop a little bit of glue on the end of the armature again. There we go. I'll just rest it there. I don't want to get any activator in my glue. Where's my lid? There it is. Activator. What I'll do is I'll just turn my face the other way, because it sprays everywhere. There we go. That'll make an instant contact. And hopefully I haven't got anything on my fingers. Voila. Cool. Jeff says, think you need a chunk of polyfoam with an MDF base that you can just stick all your wire bits into and how you want them. Know what I mean? Yes, I know exactly what you mean. Do you remember when I was doing the Panther and I had all the wheels? I had that massive block of polystyrene. It just took up a lot of space more than anything. You're absolutely right. That would be much easier. I've got a lot of these corks because I'm a wine fiend. So yeah, I have a load of them, which I deliberately started saving because I wanted to have a little practice in the future, get a little bit better at brush painting. but I wanted to start doing practice with like flesh tones, so I was going to get like a load of like heads and things and just have them all one by one, just start painting heads. That's why I've got all these corks. Tea's cold enough to drink now, cool enough to drink, sorry. Yeah, so you're right, I could do with a nice piece of foam core or something. Good shout. It's a bit fiddly, isn't it, using all these corks and stuff. So I've been looking forward to this all week, just all day, all week. I love just coming home, just chatting to you guys, just having a really good paint session. Don't think I've finished anything for such a long time, but that's not the point anymore. I kind of have finished my Marshall last week, but he's still got a couple of bits and pieces left to go on him. Is he completed? Nah, of course he isn't. Perfectionist's work is never done. And while I'm not a great painter, I do consider myself a perfectionist. Wonderful. Now the rifle. There we go. Here is another one, and I will just pop him over here. Okay, let's move on to the Aquabus. I think that's how I pronounce it. I don't actually know what Aquabus is. I think it's just like a giant gun. I assume it must be a word, and I only do assume that it must be a word drawn from like some sort of, not ancient language, but like old English or, you know, something. It's quite a seamlet, isn't it? It goes down the inside there. It's dark on the inside of their cloaks, so I'm not too fussed about it being in there, and the legs will cover that up. But again, there's a seam down here. You can see where I was sanding. A little line that runs down in there is hidden away by that kind of pipe. And then there's another seam down here, which actually isn't that bad. With a little bit of paint, that should just hide. So I'm not really too fussed about hiding it at the moment with filler or anything like that. So this guy comes on a huge base. I love it, because it's a giant snipery thing that really ruins anything. It's got some drill fuzz all over the place here. There we go. Look at the size of that gun. Whoa, lovely. Giant suppressor muzzle thing on the end of it. Who knows what it is. There we go. Cool. So yeah, this guy, love the armor on him as well. He's got this huge rifle. Pow pow. And it's got this lovely little sort of stand. Little monopod, which will hold it in place. Now what I was going to try and do was I was going to get them at least undercoated, and when I've got a little bit of time, maybe not during the show because it's going to be a bit boring, but I'm going to try and actually get them in place early doors, so that it can just be, while I'm painting them, it'll just be these two pieces here, and it'll just be easier for later on. So yeah, that's a later project. In the meantime, let's just get make sure that that airbrush is still flowing. My mixture of my primer is a little on the watery side, so I might have put in a bit too much thinner in there, but it's doing an okay job right now. Right, another sip of tea. That was a good cup of tea. That was. Lovely. Okay. Use a bit of clean out on the inside. Done in. Wonderful. Get a bit of glue. Wonderful. Just trying to find the best angle to really kind of get that gun in place. It's going to be quite difficult because of the size of him, so I'll have to bend that armature as I go, probably. This would have actually stripped the end off of it from a previous project, but it shouldn't cause any problems at all. Right, I'm going to use, again, a little bit of activator on the backpack because I don't want to be waiting around. What have I done with my activator? There it is. Again, I'm just going to turn. There we are. Because there's a little spray. I don't know why it's a spray, or if that's even the best, you know, thing to have for a super glue activator. Oh no, my glue's run down. Ran away a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I don't know if a spray is the best thing to have for an activator, because it feels like it sprays an awful lot of it. Like I've gone through easily a third of the contents in there just from using it on the occasional go. It seems like a bit of a waste of a chemical. Seems like a bit overkill. You know, God knows what it does to the paint job if you kind of get it everywhere. It does evaporate quite quickly, so it's quite difficult to have like a small amount just kind of dropped on the palette or something. Oh, a bit of an itchy head there. That is a good cup of tea. Well done, Danny. Right. That's a better position for the gun. Right, okay, here we go. More undercoating. I'm really looking forward to kind of getting all the orange on them because, well, we spoke about it before, haven't we? Watching all the colours come together, watching all of the miniatures kind of grow. It's really fun. And I can't wait to see them all on the tabletop together. I wonder if anybody else is watching right now, has anyone ever made any Skitarii models before? You know, what's your favourite? You don't necessarily have to have painted any to have a favourite, because you might have seen them in books. You might have the codex. It's a great codex as well. It's very complicated, get a lot out of it. There's a lot of bang for your buck in that codex, I think, as they should be. There should be a lot of replayability, I suppose is the word I'm looking for. A lot of customizability. It's quite a mould line under there, but it's on the underside, so you'll probably never see it. Well played. Okay, onto the aquabus. Transuranic aquabus. It's like the coolest name for a gun I've ever heard. Yeah, got a very watery mixture there. Not my best. Okay, cool. It's this process that I'm really grateful for the airbrush as well, because undercoating, priming and getting those first colours down, while exciting to see it all develop, it's really slow and really dull and really boring, and it's not until you kind of get into the slightly more detailed part of it that, you know, it really becomes a really fun process. So yeah, I'm glad I've got the airbrush for that. Right, I'm going to pop that guy down just there. 2 more to go. More legs. Another guy, faceless, nameless person in the crowd. So it's a really sorry state of affairs what happens to the Skitarii as well. Like, they are really like the epitome of slave armies. They're kind of properly brainwashed, cybernetically enhanced by having limbs and things cut off and replaced with, you know, robot parts for efficiency. The eyelids are removed, and then they wear goggles that are kind of have like a saline solution, and they glow so that they never miss a thing. And that all their kind of imagery, you know, everything that they see is all recorded by the god ships up in space and whatever, and then everything's kind of calculated on this massive hive level. And they're all indoctrinated to think that they're serving like some sort of giant machine god. And yeah, they're just, wow, crazy. A couple of comments going in. Jeff says, well, what kind of terrain table do you need for them then? And then Adria says, Jeff, I would say very industrialized, steampunkish. It's pronounced arquebus. Oh, okay, cool. Jeff says Chinese. Oh, okay, cool. Very industrial steampunk. Yeah, or just Martian. You can have it whatever you wanted, really. But if you wanted themed for these guys, yeah, industrialized steampunk is a way for going for it. Think of everything, you know, a really original steampunk, but added with that kind of gothic sort of coverall that 40k brings to the world. Because 40k's got its own genre now called, you know, gothic punk, or grim dark as well. What is in that tea? Someone's put something in it. It is remarkable. I don't know if that was sugar. Right. There's a layered joke for you. Kyle would not approve. Right, another drop there. Wonderful. Got a little bit of plastic residue just sticking out of the hole that I've made in that arm. I think I can can pick it out with. I've got a knife. Here we go. That's better. Oh, I'm making a bit of a pig's ear of that one. Oh, that one did not want to go. Luke says, I'm quite the fan of Skitarii hoplites, the Skitarii with spears and shields that protect the Titans. Cool. Are they like foot troop forces? Or are they like in machines big enough to defend Titans? Or are they just like guys with shields and spears on foot? Interesting concept. Right, I've learned already that I should get my activator out before I put the glue on, right? Activator has pretty much evaporated already. My favourite thing with AdMech, says Luke, is there's a forge world that took refugees from Cadia, but only if they would become servitors of Skitarii. Oh, oh, the burn! I didn't know that. That's not so funny, actually, if you think about it. Right, put the glue over there. Let that dry. Let that glue dry for a second while I come in at these legs here. Oh, have I just come to the end of the primer? I have. Right, time to give that a little bit of a flush through. And a bit of 50-50 water cleaner. My lights seem to be bleaching everything out today. I wonder why that is. I have angled them ever so slightly differently, but they're not any closer. If that's a problem, do let me know. Ooh. Yeah, told you I need to have a tidy up in here. Just purging through, guys, if you just bear with me just for a second. Just purging. Bit of water now. Luke has gone on to say, are they our foot troops, Forge World kit? Oh, okay. I don't know if I'll get any of them. I'm not necessarily into anything that defends Titans. I just kind of want that inexorable foot troop force. They do sound cool, though. I have been thinking, as every modeler gamer does, when you buy a new box or whatever, you know, you instantly are thinking about the next box that you're going to buy. So in that vein, if you know, as and when I do finish these guys, the next box set that I do, oh excuse me, next box set that I get won't be another box of these 10 things, even though I will get them in the future. Just to kind of break it up a little bit, I will get one of the Skitarii, which bipedal walkers that they have. They're about sort of like, you know, 9-10 feet tall. You've got a guy in them, and you get like either shooty ones or you get the jousty ones with lances. I like the idea of the lances. Shooty weapons platforms, all good in the hood. I like that sort of stuff, but they don't ever really seem to perform that well. Better ways of getting heavy weapons around. I like the idea that they have that the jousted ones or the lancy ones actually create like a fog, like a smoke haze, and then they kind of come, you know, running out of the fog and get up close and nasty. As do some of the hound ones that they've got as well. They've got like little dog mounts that they ride with flamethrowers in their mouths. Wonderful stuff. Right, I'm going to put a drop of flow improver in, and then maybe just one drop of thinner. Do you know what? I'm not even going to do that because it was really thin. I'm just going to keep it here. I need tissue to dry my brush off. Got a new tissue today. I've had the other one far too long. There we go. I see that another comment's just gone in. Leslie says, can't wait to see these guys done, considering how cool the dude was you did the last episode. Thanks, man. You're always there to make me feel good about the paintwork that I do. Yeah, I'm far from a good painter, but I can stay in the lines, just about. I think I kind of got to go back over them in a couple of places, because there's a couple of details that aren't pronounced enough. So like the little logo with the skull and the cog, I think I need to kind of just do those again, just to make them pop a little bit. I look at the box art for him, and it really stands out, and all the images of, like, you know, there's little sort of details in the codex, it all stands out. And while I'm neat enough to kind of paint it, I can't seem to get it to identify as well as I see other painters doing it. And it might just be that I need to put a couple more coats on. Here we go. I'm going back in. Yeah, that's a bit more manageable. So no thinner. I just realised that I'm not doing this in shot. I really apologise. I'm so into this, I'm just in my own world. You are not here tonight. I want you to be there, so I will come back in the frame. I think these guys would make a really good cosplay as well if you're into that sort of stuff. Am I into cosplay? Well, I suppose I am. Like anything that can be created. I've said this before, anything that you can translate from your mind's eye, from your imagination into the real world using, you know, like your skills that you've created or developed yourself, that is to be applauded. I don't care what it is. But being that I'm a sword fighter and reenactor and, you know, show fighter, theatre kind of a guy, the fact that I wear a suit of armour and stand in front of hundreds and sometimes thousands of people sword fighting, I think kind of answers the question, are you into cosplay? Because that essentially is cosplay. I put on a costume, I play to be someone else. Would I like to go to a convention dressed up as, you know, one of these guys or something else? Yeah, why not? Do I have the time to do it? Nope. Which is why I probably don't get involved in it. I think the way to do it, of course, is to get a scooter and dress up as a Dalek. Or even get like a little motorised wheelchair and just sit back and on the inside have a little drink shelf, you know, a couple of snacks or whatever, little locker box inside, no one ever know. Got a bit heavy there, that might take out some of the detail. I kind of move it around with a little bit of air. It's on the back, so it doesn't really matter. On the inside, sorry. That backpack. Okay, so one more to go. Just trying to put him down without kind of knocking off any of the paint that I've put on him. I will put him here. He's down. Last one then, here we go. Adrian says they are an elite choice for an AdMech army, but they have to have a Titan Legion selected. They are a type of Skitarii. I have the data sheet in front of me for the hoplites. I could cosplay for them. I'm halfway there already. Yes, because if you don't know, Adrian has one leg. quite a seam on this guy here, so if I was gonna like fill any of them, it would be this one. I'm gonna see what the paint does to it. There's no reason why later on I can't, even if I paint them a little bit, go in and put a little bit of filler on it and then kind of repaint it. Let's just see how much I can get away with. That is quite a hefty seam on this one. I wonder if that's just the way I put it together. I don't know. Oops. Right. Let's get these legs done. That's for that one there. I'm trying to not mix them up. I should have numbered them, really, numbered the corks and underneath their bases. That way I won't ever get the legs mixed up. There's a little piece of plastic in there. Oh no! Can I lift that out? Yes, I can. Wonderful. And on to my final and fifth armature, Easy 8 armature. Glue. It's that little white bit is creating so much glare, isn't it? As if I move my lights away a little bit. That's a little bit better, isn't it? Whew. That's quite a bit of glue I put on there. Let's remove some of that. I hope this glue isn't so strong that I really struggle trying to snap these bits off. That would be a real bind. Took quite a lot of effort getting the marshal to stick together. Also, like, the legs fit inside the cloak so tight that just a couple of layers of paint make it almost impossible to put them together. So it took a lot of work getting them together. So there is a reason to want to put the, paint them all together. Come on, don't make a hash of this one. Wonderful. If you just stay there, please. Lovely. Put a little bit of glue on the end there. And now one last little blast of activator. There we go. It kind of soaks everything you see all over my thumb. It does not take long to evaporate. But the reaction that it has with this glue is amazing and very fast. He says. Adrian says, Easy 8s, try miniature. Oh, try mature? Yeah, I like that. Doesn't matter if you have 3 models, try, or you'll just still be trying. Yeah. It's me trying to like get the humour while it's like so far away from me I can't really read it. Right. That is excellent. Okay. Last little bit. Again, there's a seam on the top there. That's a bit frustrating. I'll come back at that later on when it's kind of dried up, and I'll just spray some silver over and it'll be fine, I reckon. If you can see that on the camera, but it's at the top of the backpack here. There's a little seam line that goes across the top. Rubbishy. Right, well, time well spent. The first half of the show just kind of spent undercoating, but I've got through it all now. I'm not going to bother putting a second coat of undercoat on them. Primer, whatever you want to call it. Same thing, really. Yeah, just looking forward to getting some colour on these guys now. And I'll pop this guy right here. Lovely. It does take up quite a lot of space, so maybe Easy 8's tri-armature isn't the best thing to have. They need to have little stands that I can pop them in, or like my dad says, Jeff said, maybe just have a big piece of foam or something you can pop them into. Anyway, it's time to have a quick break so that you get a rest from my voice. Stop looking at my face for a little while, or even my hands. And yeah, I'm going to go and check to see if I've actually fed the cat, because that could be awkward for her. In the meantime, though, go get yourself another refreshment, or get yourself something to eat. Stretch your legs. Go to the bathroom, or change your paint water. You should definitely change your paint water, and you should definitely feed your cat. See you in a minute. Welcome back. Hope you had a great intermission. I went and made another cup of tea. Looks a bit pale. Don't think I've done this one justice. And the cat was fed, which is great. Great news. So while you're away, I didn't clean my paint water. Didn't necessarily need to. But I've cleaned the airbrush out. Give it a little bit of a flush through. Got some orange lined up. Ready just to kind of rock on and roll. Is that even a phrase? Rock on and roll. Anyway, let's get back to the workbench, have a little look down here. I do also like the music transition from the exciting jazz to that kind of calm music in the background there. Cool, so I got some hot orange from Vallejo Air Range, or as it's called in Spanish, Naranja Tostado. Just thought it was a great sounding word. Just going to do it on the top halves, mostly on the cloak areas here. This little armature here is a little bit bendy, slidey, kind of wants to move around all over the place. Pain in the backside. It's a beautiful colour, this orange. Especially when it just starts to go on the white there. It's going to be quite dark by the end of it, eh? As we know. It's all coming together already. That orange is starting to come out. Something that we haven't done for quite a long time now, especially at this point in the show, is community spotlight, or even, you know, little business shout outs and things like that. If you do have a miniature or some miniatures that you kind of want to just have displayed, get in contact, because I'm more than happy to put up pictures that you send through and kind of want us to talk about, get a little bit of praise for. Yeah, that's what this show is all about. So if you've got some stuff that you'll kind of want to get some limelight to, spotlight so to speak, then yeah, by all means, drop us a line, get in contact with us. You can do it either through Facebook, you could even do it on Instagram if you wanted, because we're over there too. You could, you know, put it in the comments. You can get in contact in the live chat over there. That's nice and cool. Whatever. I read everything, so if it comes through on, you know, on the comment section of the video much later on, I read all of those things and I try to reply to them all as well. You get in contact with us on Facebook, or if you like. If you have had a great experience from, you know, a business and you want to kind of give those guys a shout out too, you know, don't hesitate. I will more than happily shout out a company who's doing really well at what they do, because I think they deserve it, and that's what this community is all about, right? I am really struggling to put this guy down without getting paint all over the place. Where do you want to go? Let's bend you over like that. Is that gonna do? Yes, apparently it was everything that I needed. Okay, so on these guys I've got to do that arm as well on the gun, because it's got some of the robes on there as well. So here we go. Now, orange, as beautiful as the colour seems to be, is really weak in the pigment, so I'm trying to go in gentle and not layer it up too quick, but I'm also trying to get this army done quite fast, because I don't want it to be just another project that just takes so long that you lose kind of interest in it. You know what I mean? So I'm just hoping that it dries fast enough in one area that by the time I go to the other side and then come back, that at least it's fairly, and you can see that it is quite dry already. If I just blow a little bit of air on here, and again it's quite warm in this room. Yeah, it's dry enough to put like a quick second blast on, and it seems to be okay. I might have to come back later and give them a quick once over again. I give the insides a quick once over, just so that when I go in with the red, which I will do by brush, I learned with that with the Marshall, that it's better to do that bit with the brush. It's just a bit of an appropriate colour undercoat, if you like. So they've got the white primer on there for the paint to actually adhere to, but the orange will kind of help the red take effect. But it's not like it's going to be that colour in the inside. It's actually a scarlet red. There's that one. It's a nice colour though, isn't it? Leslie says, haha, you said something potentially inappropriate and funny. I'm not immature at all. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. As it came out, I was like, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to say it. I'm an adult. This is supposed to be family friendly, but whatever you take from it is entirely up to you, buddy. Right, pop him down there. Lovely. On to the next one. Again, all of these rifles, even the transuranic arquebus, thank you Adrian, is going to have orange on there. A bit of overspray here. Where was I spraying? Where did I manage to get that? Oh, must have been sticking in shot. A little bit of orange on the underside there. Not a massive problem. Next week I will have a much tidier workbench, so it's not going to be such an issue. What I actually need is like a little peg hole underneath the cork so that I can just kind of plop them down onto like a stand or something. That would make life much easier. That's looking killer, dude, says Leslie. Thanks, man. It's just such a nice colour, isn't it? And the airbrush makes sure that you get a real nice covering. Again, really grateful for the airbrush in this because the orange, like I say, is such a weak pigment. I know it's taken me all evening to get, them all pinned and onto this armature and then primed and base coat with the first colour, but that's not bad for a first go because everything else from now on, all the hard work of kind of getting them onto these armatures, that hard work is now done. I don't have to worry about it. And I've got a couple of days off. Obviously I'm going to spend a little bit of time with my partner over the weekend, going to go out for a nice walk or something. She doesn't know that yet. Yeah, I'm going to go and have a nice little weekend away, well, a nice day away. A couple of other chores and things like that to do, but I do hope to spend some time here in the workshop, have a bit of a tidy up, but I'm going to get some painting done, hopefully finish the Marshall. That would certainly be cool, get him done before I finish these guys. And then of course I'll put some photos up on the Facebook page so that you guys can see it. And I'd love to get a unit completed because it means I can then go and put them on the Instagram page that we have. Pop him down here. There he is. Lovely. On to the fourth one. I think I'm going to have to go over with a second coat. That is fine. This one's got a little purity seal just on the inside of his cloak there. I realised I wasn't in shot again. Now, if you wanted to add a lot of variety to your units, especially if you were going to use Rangers and Vanguard, which are the two main troops choices, as the bulk of your army, to add a lot of variety to them. Sorry, tripping over my own words. There, you can get a lot of third-party sort of parts for them. Some of the best ones that I've seen are from puppetswar.eu. The guys over at Puppets War make some incredible third-party parts. You can use them for any miniatures, any games, but the stuff that they do would look really good on Skitarii. and I might get some in the future because, you know, variety, right? I love the miniature range that Citadel do produce, you know, Games Workshop produce for the Skitarii, but, you know, get a little bit of everything in there, why not? Dare I say it, touch wood, right there, that the airbrush is working like a dreamboat today. Connoisseurs will remember times where I have struggled with the airbrush, but it's recently had a really good clean, so it is doing a very good job. Today, going a little bit mottled on the back there. I don't know if you can see, it's almost blotchy. I don't know if you can see it so well, but that means I'm going on a bit too heavy. It's a bit too watery. I'm trying to layer and layer and layer. What I don't want to do, of course, is go on so heavy that I end up losing detail or definition. That's looking really good there. And the last one, and then what I'll do is I'll give the airbrush a quick purge, and I will put some more orange in and give them a second going over. Here's that one with a massive seam down that cloak. I might tonight during the after party, the Easy 8 after 8 party, where we should eat after 8 mints. I digress. I might try and use some plastic filler if it's going to be a problem. I have a couple of different types. I'm quite looking forward to experimenting with them because with any kind of putties or fillers, things like milliput green stuff, as you can mix them to get different sort of properties, qualities, etc. And I've got a couple of different types. So if you're interested in coming along to the After 8 party, join us on Discord. There is a link to Discord, and the server for Discord for Easy 8 on Discord is in the description to this video. If you haven't used Discord before, do it. It's fantastic. And we've got quite a few Easy 8 viewers that come over and just join in a little video chat with everybody. Again, you don't have to join in a video chat. You can just kind of watch or type as well if you want to, whatever you like. But it's just kind of nice to get everyone together and have a chit chat. Talk about how the show went. It's really nice to get some feedback and just kind of talk to everyone about, you know, what they're painting. It's nice for me to kind of get the other side of the camera on some cases. Chris from Germany. Chris isn't in the live chat today. Chris, if you are in the live chat or you're watching this back on replay, I hope you're well, mate. Or as they say in Germany, I hope you're well, mate. I translated just for those people that don't speak German. Yeah, that's my joke. You can have that. Thanks. This one, has it got a sleeve on here? They do have some bionic arms, and sometimes they don't have sleeves. So I'm going to paint it orange just in case, because it will be easier to go over with silver than it will be to go over the silver with orange if I find out later on that it needed it. It doesn't look like it does. Whatevs. Okay. That's a lot of orange I've got just kind of lying around now. It's really, really cool. And I am just going to give the airbrush a quick purge. I've got a little bit left in here. Enough to maybe go over one of these miniatures. Luke, oh sorry, there's a couple of comments that have gone in. Jeff has gone to say, can they all have different colours inside their coats, or is it a uniform? It is a uniform, but I can do whatever I want, so I could do like rankings and things like that. That would be kind of cool. With this particular group, I wanted to do something that had like a sort of an element of Martian, but I wanted to do something different from Mars because it's the poster child for Skitarii. So I decided to do this world called Riser. They have like a close connection to Mars, and they basically, you know, a tip of the hat to Mars is that they have Martian color on the inside. Yeah, and I just wanted to do orange, so I chose them. But there's no reason why I can't do markings on them, or I can change the coat lining, whatever I want really. Might be a bit easier on vehicles perhaps. He is waving around all over the place, isn't he? I would like you very much to stop that. It's not going to. Okay, let's get some orange out of here. Luke's gone to say, hands are a bit shaky and chargers aren't charging, so gonna call it a day. Probably you'll see in the after 8 party. Sorry, I don't know why I struggled to read that. That was actually quite clear. I'm sorry, Luke. I hope you're feeling a little bit better, mate, if you're not feeling so well, or if your hands are shaky, or whatever. Yeah, and I'll be in the after 8 party a little bit later on after the show. So take it easy, bro. See you in a bit. Might even require a third coat, but do you know what? That's what happens when you play with pigments like orange. Yellow is very much the same. I showed a friend at work what I'd done with the Marshall. Showing him the colour work, you know, that I've been playing with orange or whatever. He's like, oh, you went with a really dark orange over a really light one. I'm like, yeah, the community decided on it. But actually, I was really, you know, I really prefer it. I really enjoy the dark orange. Makes them look a little bit, not grimier, just a little bit more grimdark, I suppose is the right word, isn't it? Just a little bit grimmer. Not grimier, grimmer. Easier to kind of make that dark gothic sort of vibe. Still got quite a bit of paint in this airbrush here, so gonna keep on going. I realise that I'm not doing a very good job of staying in shot today. I apologise for that. Not entirely sure why I'm struggling with this today. But if it is becoming a problem, do say. I look up every now and then, I'm like, I'm not even anywhere near. And I am out of orange. Okay, we'll come back to that guy in a second then. Pop him out that way perhaps. It's a bit better. Right, let's give it a quick purge through with some water. And then I'll just top him up with some paint. How are your projects going this evening? If you're working on something today, maybe doing a canvas painting, or you're doing one of those really cool sort of diamond pictures that like Jeanette likes to do, or you've got some miniatures on the go, maybe you've got some terrain going as well. I'd love to know about it. Drop us a little line there in the live chat. Or if you're watching it back on replay, do drop a comment in. Like I say, I do read everything, even if it is retrospectively. Some guys over in America, over in the US, do drop lines in occasionally. So hi to all of you out there. I don't remember all of your names to reel them all off right now, but I do know of you all. I know that you're all there, and I know that you guys are watching. Thanks for coming along to the show and stuff, making it what it is. Transatlantic now, this show. Viewed from as far as the western seaboard of the States, all the way over to Sydney in Australia. All I want now is a Pacific island, and I would consider that global. That's really kind of cool. Getting quite a few followers lately on Instagram. That's nice. So if you have come here from Instagram, hi. Couple of new followers on Facebook, but it's them subscribers on YouTube that I want. That really helps me grow this show, grow the community. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do. Please. Perhaps if you know a friend who's interested, get them to come along. That'll be great. We had Scott Hudson the other week, who started following us on Facebook. So Scott, if you're watching right now, or watching back later on. Hi mate. Thanks for following. Jess put in a comment, boy do I have some terrain going. yeah, more orders perhaps. What have you got going on in your workshop today? If I spray a little bit of orange over that white primer there, it stops the glare on the screen so much. That's better, isn't it? Easier on the eyes. My partner showed an episode of Easy 8 Painting Club to her gran the other day, and she really enjoyed it. So, hi gran. Maybe if you watch this later on. She said, oh, he's got the gift of the gab. Thank you very much. I think that's a compliment. I certainly had to learn how to just talk all the time, that's for sure. This wasn't because I have an interest in broadcasting. It was because I wanted to bring the community together. Gosh, struggling today with talking. Yeah, I just wanted to bring everyone together so that everyone could have a place to paint and talk about stuff. And yeah, maybe you've moved somewhere recently. Maybe you've gone to university, or you got a new job and you've moved to the city and you don't know anyone around you who plays or paints. Maybe you haven't got the time to go out, find a proper social club or something. Easy 8 is for you. It's for everybody, which is lovely. Maybe you know someone, or your partner does a lot of painting and you get fed up talking to them about it all the time because you haven't got a clue what they're talking about. Then Easy 8 is here to save your day. I've never really thought about it like that before. Okay, just a couple more to go on the orange. Got a bit of backache today. Maybe I'm sitting in a bit of a different position. I think these guys are definitely going to benefit from having a third coat, but that's okay. The airbrush makes it so swift. You can see that these guys are going to look really quite powerful in terms of their vibrance on the tabletop. That you're going to struggle to miss these guys. The idea with rangers apparently is that they just kind of pursue you relentlessly, no matter where you are. They'll find you. You could evade them, and maybe like a couple of weeks down the line in your little hidey hole wherever you are, whether you're like kind of in like a little village or in like a little settlement or maybe in a city, is that eventually, no matter where you've got to, they will find you. They just don't get tired. They're so brainwashed and so cybernetically enhanced that they just keep on walking. They will hunt you down. Like the relentless stalker. Quite like that. I like the hoods. I like the image that they have. That is quite a seam down there, isn't it? On all of them, actually. Well, all of them, most of them. So yeah, that might be a call for a little bit of filler on them. That is fine. They still look a little bit moist from their coat of orange, so I'm going to give these guys a little bit of a rest from it. What I'm probably going to do is paint their trousers, because they've got little overall trousers. And I found a really good combination of colours to use. on them to get them quite close to the colour, almost identical to the colour in the book, the Codex, which is this really weird sort of bluey, purpley kind of colour. I've just got to make sure that I can remember how I achieved it. Some comments going in. Jeff goes on to say that he's currently doing a Norman tower, some hills with woods on, a Serbian house, a massive Iron Age hill fort, just the start. Wow, yeah, I struggle just to do 5 guys at once, so kudos to you. Leslie says, just finished the first couple of layers, now my hands are tired. Ah, cool. Like when your hands are raking, means that you've had a good day painting or making or whatever it is. Jenna says, well, I'm no longer a Warhammer widow. I use your show for company while I do my own hobby. I understand more about your hobby too, so bonus. Ah, wicked. That's cool. It's nice that you use it for company. It's kind of what it's for. Right, just clear the hopper out of this. Oh, it's getting hot under my headphones. It's hot in this room today. I don't think the lights generate that much heat, and the laptop's got a cooling tray. I suppose heat's got to go somewhere though, right? The sun, the window there is a west-facing window, so as the sun goes down, it kind of picks up the heat from the end of the day. During the winter, it gets cold as. Right. I'm actually just going to have to give the inside of the paint chamber a bit of a clean out there. So I'm just going to get a bit of cleaner water mix and just run a paintbrush inside there. The orange is quite stainy. I will use my mixie brush for it. Just give that a bit of a swirl around. You can see that it stains. It's kind of a crawler. Gets everywhere. See, like the foam that kind of comes out. Oh, I can't see it on the camera, but where it kind of blasts the water onto the paper, the foam, the white foam water turns orange. Pop a little bit more in there. Don't want the orange to affect any other colours that I use. There we go. Right, so the colours that I used for their overalls, they've also got like a little sleeve that goes underneath their arms, or at least the Marshal did. So on the Marshal here, you can see that he's got like an orange sleeve, but underneath he's got like a little overall that kind of comes out from underneath it. I don't know if these guys are necessarily supposed to have that. That's something I haven't really kind of looked at too hard. Perhaps I should. I'll have a look at the Alpha. Hi, Alpha. Now see, he's got normal robe arms, so he's going to have robe arms. Right, let's find the colour that I used. Can I find it? Oh. Somber grey. This is pretty much Space Wolf grey. I'm going to do just their legs, and then the bottom half of their legs from the sort of the knee down are kind of bionic, so they're like going to be silvery colours. And then I stain it with a bit of blue, and then dry brush it with a bit of this colour, maybe a bit of grey, and it seems to do the trick. But when it kind of goes on at this layer, it looks all wrong. I was just experimenting, playing around with a brush a couple of weeks ago, and it just worked. I was like, wow, check that out. It's nice when you're kind of mixing colours and you just kind of get the colour that you're trying to achieve. There it is, you can see that colour there. So, I'm probably going to do the whole leg, even the shins, just because, again, it's another layer of paint for the silver to adhere to. Coming out a bit fast there. Yeah, I was thinking about just getting the silver through the airbrush and just kind of getting it to shine with the white, but it's just if I cover the whole bottom piece of the model in this colour, I'm not going to miss any areas. I did the first time around. I'm not going to do it this time. You know, and I'll be painting the silver on by brush because it's just a bit easier. There we are. That is the first part. It's kind of a nice contrast to the orange. I like it. It's a very cool colour. Almost a very cool colour. Very, very warm colour. I like it. Let's go to the Arquebus dude. Here he is. Arquebus dude. A bit of orange underneath him there. I have to be very careful where I start storing all these pieces as I move on now, because any kind of overspray will ruin anything, obviously. Love the armor on this guy, kind of like hanging loin cloth plate things. Yeah, just like it. It's good. Right, you go over there. Come on, behave. Pieces are moving around everywhere. There we go. Ah, Butterfingers. There we go. Do I need to do another coat on these? Probably not. This colour covers really well. I really like it. It's just about if I've missed any areas. So I'm just going to pick them up and have a little check and just give them a little touch up as I go. And the others I'm looking at now, they're absolutely fine, I think. Well, maybe not as good as I thought. Always worth checking though, right? Always. Wonderful. Again, I'll just give that a bit of a purge out. Right, so look, it's 2:45, and I've got 2 colours on already. 3 if you include the primer, and they're all pinned on these little armatures. So that's a really good productivity for this evening. I'm not going to get much more done than that. Especially when I consider that I've got to kind of clean up a little bit here before the after party, and I'm going to try and have a go at putting some plastic filler in a couple of these guys. I don't think I'm going to get much more done at all tonight, but the next step that I will probably do, just to kind of break up the orange a little bit, put a little bit of scarlet into the inside of the cloaks. I'll probably start painting the silver on, especially onto the legs, get that done on there. Yeah, start picking up those details a little bit. Block out all the basic colours that need to be on there. The 3 main colours are silver, orange, and the overalls kind of somber grey, bluey colour, whatever you want to call it. It's a purpley kind of a grey, grey kind of a purple. And I suppose that red kind of makes up a background 4th colour as well. These guys are going to have a lot less gold on them. So it's going to be the thing that really separates them from the Marshall, apart from the size, is that he's quite ornate. Got a bit of a blockage in my airbrush. No, that's okay. It's going. Put a bit more cleaner through there. Leslie says, all these little guys have crazy amounts of detail to them. Yes, they do. And though that was something that attracted me to them, is that kind of... Because like the steampunk thing, like the old classic steampunks, the Vernian stuff and the Wellesian stuff, is all like super duper ornate wood artifacts with brass inlay and stuff. It's that stuff really appealed. That was one of the main things that kind of attracted me to them, but it was also the thing that I was most intimidated by, because you're kind of locked into having to paint them, aren't you? Otherwise, if you decide, oh, I'm not going to paint the kind of like the filigree or the kind of detailed etchings and things on the rifles, then you just kind of got a brown wood feature that has details on it that is very easy to see that you haven't painted it. So yeah, I was quite intimidated by it. When I was first looking at which ones to buy, the prices, unfortunately, Games Workshop are quite dramatic prices. The price for a single Marshall miniature is very close to the price of a box of Skitarii Warriors. So I was like, well, maybe I should just kind of get some bang for my buck and just buy a box of Skitarii Warriors. But I didn't want to. I wanted to test it on one and not have, if I didn't get on with it, I didn't want to have like a load of stuff just kind of lying around, waste of money, waste of plastic, whatever. Turns out, actually, I really enjoyed the whole process. And the part of this show for me is not just kind of providing a little bit of entertainment or company or whatever whilst painting, but it's also just to kind of put myself out there in the public commons, the global commons, if you like, and just try to improve and push myself. Not necessarily super hard every single time, but you know, enough that I kind of develop as a painter. I've certainly come on. I wish I had some of my first ever miniatures, but I don't know whatever happened to them. They're not in my life anymore. I don't know where they've ever gone. I know that they were hideous, but that's not the point, right? The point is that you keep them and you reflect on them. Never throw away any of your old art, etc., etc. You know the score. So I might, when I get to the silver point, is paint the backpacks up entirely just so that I can have them removed from the armature so they're kind of not in my way. That might be something that I do, not tonight, but that might be something that I do later, because they're not going to require an awful lot of detail. They are just silver, then I kind of put that Basilicanum grey wash over them, pick out a few details, a little bit of gold here and there, maybe the odd lens, and then they're done. And I can just kind of put them to a side, and when the rest of the miniatures are completed, just kind of stick them on. Stops them like getting in the way or kind of getting any risk of overspray or you know, all that risky stuff. But do I have time to put a little bit more orange on them? I think I do, and I think I should, because at least at that point I'm done. Oh, I missed one. Cheeky. Well, I've already cleaned the airbrush out from that colour now, so I'm going to put a little bit of drop of grey in there, because at least then they're all up together, aren't they? He was behind something. I kind of moved something around on the table. I'll just put 3 drops. Okay, it wants to do a 4th. In you go. There we are. Always do your head counts. I'm deliberately painting out a shot a little bit there because I've got so much bright orange stuff around me. I didn't want to get any overspray with this quite dark colour there. That was actually just enough to get that done, and a little bit more. I got a little bit on my fingers. Okay, I will clean this airbrush back out again. Oh, that could have been a nightmare. Well, wasn't really a nightmare. Just not paying attention. Just run a bit more water through him, and I'll kind of put a few more drops of orange back in the airbrush, and then that should finish me off nicely to the end of the day. This tea actually isn't all that bad. Okay. Because it was just a small amount of paint, I don't have to wipe the bowl out in there, which is good. I'm going to go in for a bit more Naranja Tostado. Just going to go for 10 drops. I don't intend to go super heavy with it. Just enough to cover over what we've already got here. Okay. Lovely. Ooh, fingers and thumbs again. It's all gone quiet while I kind of get my serious face on now. I'm trying to get everything done before the end of the show. Wonderful. Just a couple more to go then. Obviously these are going to be, even though it dries fairly quickly, they're still going to be drying throughout the night. So it might be that I come back tomorrow and go like, oh, okay, another coat. And that might make all the difference. Especially if I'm going to have to put some filler on some of these cloaks. Yeah, I'm going to have to go for another coat later on. But that's a job for another day. Oh no! Came off. It's quite alright. That's an even bigger gap in that cloak here. Quite a severe line. That is going to stand out, I fear. And just as I finish the last miniature, I'm out. Perfect amount there. Wonderful. Okay, now for a quick purge and a clean out. Leslie says, just chilling now, bopping my head to the music and watching you paint, but going on to the steampunk thing, it really is a good aesthetic to add to a world that's already detailed and vibrant. Yeah, at first I didn't really know how I felt about it, because obviously, like I said, you know, Games Workshop has, oh no, I should have knocked him over. Games Workshop's spent a long time developing this, got a bit of grime on his coat, come on. Spent quite a bit of time developing this this gothic punk, grim dark setting, and I didn't really know how steampunk really fit into that. Turns out it fits into it fine. That's how I feel about it anyway. It's not an issue for me. mean, there are lots of subcategories of steampunk as well, and diesel punk is certainly one. There's a lot of literature out there on steampunk. I have what is called the Steampunk Bible, just as a really nice read that my dad bought me for a birthday present a long time ago, and it kind of just goes into the birth of it as a genre, how it has kind of spawned more modern day sort of things, and that you can get everything from like gaslight romance, which isn't even really steampunk. It's just kind of the aesthetics and the feels and the vibes that kind of come from the fantasy storytelling within a Victorian kind of aesthetic. But then there's things like diesel punk, and then there's also nuke punk, or apocalyptic punk and things like that, and you're kind of going more into the realms of Mad Max and things, and then how they all kind of intermingle. Is probably not a stretch of the imagination to say that the new Mad Max, the Fury Road, was actually very close to being a diesel punk game, and it takes everything that is steampunk and makes it dirty, makes it bad, makes it grimy, makes it dirt. And it's an interesting dichotomy. Look at me using big words. Luke's not on for that one either, that's a shame. So actually having steampunk in this grim dark world works absolutely fine. So today, what have I got done? I have got my 5 new miniatures, all pinned on armatures, all undercoated and primed, got their base coats down. They need a lot of silver work on them, that's to come later on. That's really good. I'm gonna have a little go at playing with a little bit of putty this evening. I've got a couple of putties. I've got lots of modelling putties, which I think are probably a bit too hefty for this. Got green stuff, acrylic modelling filler, a little bit crumbly, not necessarily the best thing that I hoped it was going to be, but I've also got Vallejo plastic putty, which, watching the tutorials from Vallejo, seems to be the ideal substance that you could ever ask for, but watching other reviews of it, it seems to almost have the same qualities that I don't like in the green stuff putty, the green stuff world green putty filler, the one I just showed you. So I'm interested to see how it performs. It seems to work really well on small scratches and holes, gashes and things like that, which would be ideal for what I'm using it for. On the tutorial that I saw, there was a gentleman that was trying to fill very large deliberate gouges on a test piece of plastic, and it was shrinking, falling out, doing all sorts of stuff. But maybe for these little cloaks, this might be exactly what I need. And it's white, so it kind of blends in with primer and things like that. I'm gonna have a little go at playing and mixing the two putties, see what happens, but they are some extraordinarily large gaps here. Bring it into focus. The focus range is about here somewhere. You can see that. That's quite a line, and I don't want it there. So yeah. Anyway, it's been a productive evening. I've enjoyed it. Lean back a little bit. Rest my back. Where are we? Let's come away from here. Let's come away from here. I've clicked the wrong button. Did get a little ending thing down there now. Didn't do that earlier, did I? What a plonker. Here we are. Made it back again. So I hope you've had a productive evening doing all your painting. Would love to see photos of your projects that are ongoing or finished. That'd be great to see. So stick them up on Facebook. Facebook is just... Where did I do it? Facebook is just here. I can never remember where it is on the screen. Yeah. I'd love to see what you're doing, so pop some photos, go on over to Facebook if you haven't been over there already, find the community tab and you can stick all your stuff up there if you want to, like everybody does every week. It's wonderful. Leslie has gone on to say crust punk. That's a music genre, just adding to the pukeness or punkness. Pukeness? Puke punk? That fits into your Nurgle themes quite well there, I think. Yeah, would love to see what you're doing, how far you've got with all of your stuff. Yeah, Next week, I'm going to be coming back to these guys. Obviously, I've done a little bit more work on them. I don't think I'm going to have them constructed. That's going to be a much later thing for them, maybe a week down the line. But I should have all of the basic colours all blocked in, and probably even, stained or washed and shaded by the end of next week at the latest, which would be great. Really trying to see if I can get these guys done like in a week or two, and on my time frame at work, who knows. So yeah, looking forward to it. Anyway, that's enough from me this week. If you enjoy what we do here and you haven't already done it, please do consider subscribing. Like I say, it really helps me build the popularity of this channel, kind of gets the name out there a little bit, and I really want this community to grow because it's just fun to kind of come to you guys every week and tune in. So yeah, you're tuning in, I'm tuning in. It's a two-way thing. So yeah, please do subscribe. Bring a friend if you have got friends that have come along. Get more, spread the word, make this community grow. That would be wonderful. And basically, I will see you next week. So until next week, be kind, stay safe, keep on painting, and I'll see you next time. Take care now. Bye-bye. Easy 8 tri-armatures. Oh, gotta feed the cat.